Okay, so we're going to review the concept of functions. This is activity 1.9, 1.10, 1.11. And we need to remember that a function is a correspondence between an input and an output where every input has one and only one output. We have here an example where we have a table that represents the temperature, the high temperature in a town in New York, and this temperature is for the first week of January. So we have 7 days. So input is day, output is temperature. So to the question, is temperature a function of the day? The answer is definitely yes. And why yes? It's yes because for every input, we see one and only one output. Okay, so for every input, we see only one and only one output, right? Every date has one temperature. Okay, so I would like you to look at this graph right here at the bottom. This graph corresponds to this table, and these points are these data sets represented in the table. Now you can see that if I make vertical lines through the x values, so the input values that represent the dates, I can see that those lines just have one of the data points represented on the table. Only one of the data points. Now, let's compare this example to this second table. Now, my input is temperature, my output is date. And the question is date a function of the temperature? And the answer to this question is no. No, because we see an input that has two different outputs. In here, we can see that 30 degrees Fahrenheit happened on the second day and on the 7th day of January. Okay, so there is an input that has two different outputs, and that cannot happen in a function. Now, if we check at the graph corresponding to the table, to this table, we can see that if we trace vertical lines, right? Let's say at t equals 30 degrees, okay? That vertical line contains two data points, right? Contains the data point 30, 2 and 30, 7, right? So it contains this point right here and this point right here. Okay? So what we are doing is using a test that is called the vertical line test. This is a test that is used to check if a graph represents a function. All right? So you are ready to watch the second video about functions, activity 1.9, 1.10, and 11.